Hello and welcome to Hollywood Burbank. Here we are after spending some time in the spit, now coming to the sun and doing some GA. And first of all, thank you very much to everyone on Instagram who voted to come here to LA. It's beautiful, I have to say. So what are we doing? This is a little bit of a test flight. I installed version 5 last weekend, and I've probably so far done a couple of hours in it, just really testing different smaller pieces. So what we're going to do now is actually take on a proper flight, and we're going to fly from here, Hollywood Burbank, over to Catalina Island, and just take in some of the Hollywood sights on the way. Really just testing the scenery, testing the FPS. I have to say I'm incredibly impressed with version 5 so far. I've probably still got a little bit of tweaking to do, but considering my settings are relatively high, it's performing incredibly well. The other thing, of course, is, and anyone who's got Orbx Southern California will know that in this area it's an absolute FPS killer. But I'm getting much better frames than I normally would. And now we have a nose wheel. We don't do S-turns when we have a nose wheel. So yeah, this is very much just a chilled out flight, just to see how things go. Before we head off, let's just check a few things. We're not doing a complete checklist here, we've already done a lot, so let's put the strobe on now, and the landing light. Cow flaps are open. Let's take the runway, there's nothing else around. Put mixture to rich now. What I have noticed in the couple of trips I've taken in this aircraft, the Beechcraft Bonanza VTOL in this, is it has a bigger tendency to nose twitch to the left on takeoff, which no doubt you're about to see a good demonstration of. Could be something to do with the way my controllers haven't been set up properly, perhaps. But it's one of the little challenges of this beautiful aircraft. Okay, another quick check, look around, everything's good. Yes, 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 yes. Nothing we need to worry about there. Okay, let's go. So not quite so twitchy that time. Using the rudder a bit, let's ease back on the power slightly. Okay, landing light off. Okay, let's do some sightseeing. Back round, do a left turn, of interest if any of you are watching this and you're having the black texture loading issue, and you haven't already seen it, there is a great little fix for it which I'm trying out in this, but seems to be working for me, and I'll just put that in the video notes below. There's trim. Really, compared to what LA used to be like, this isn't bad at all, really. And as you can see, the settings are relatively high. You see LA in the distance there. Something else that is happening at the moment with the atmospheric enabled is that I'm seeing on some of the Orbx scenery dark. The haze in the atmospherics on P3D doesn't seem to hide some of the autojet, but I'm sure that's something that's going to get fixed. So here we are coming up over Universal. I think that's Hogwarts, the Harry Potter exhibit, that big castle thing in the middle. Never been here, so I can't attest to it, but that's pretty cool. Let's watch our speed a little there. Some speed coming in, Warner Brothers. You see that often at the beginning of the Warner Brothers films, that shot of the studio sheds there. Sorry for the jerky head movements, I'm just keeping an eye on the instruments while I'm doing these manoeuvres. So yeah, this is the Orbx Hollywood Burbank scenery, and around it I've got the Orbx North America South California pack also installed. You know, over here I think we should be coming, yeah, there it is, there's Disney. Disney Studios. Now they're saying we wish that idiot who's flying overhead would just go away. power back a bit, lose a bit of height here. We have the LA Equestrian Centre just below us there. Didn't see much of it, unfortunately. Just want to bring us around the hill here. Oh, slight pause there, it's coming back, there we go. That hasn't changed from version 4. So that is Wilson and Harding golf courses. I do apologise, I don't know LA very well. Only what you see in the movies, as they say. There's the observatory. Thought I had a graphics issue when I first saw that in here, but the domed roofs are actually that colour. I thought perhaps there was a texture not loading in. And there we have, just in the distance there, the iconic sign. So we've got to take a look at that. It would be rude not to. Power a bit now.
Obstacle ahead.
Okay, let's turn that off.
Obstacle ahead. Pull up. Obstacle ahead. Pull up. Obstacle ahead. Pull up.
There we go. We are well aware of an obstacle ahead. We are intentionally flying towards it. There we go. All together now. Hooray for Hollywood! Yeah, that's all you're going to get. Okay. Clean up these now a bit. Oh, to own a house up here, eh? Well, you never know, a few more subscribers on this. I could be making films in Hollywood. Ha ha ha! Boy's got a dream. And if you can't dream in Hollywood, where can't you dream, eh? those deadly pauses back again. And we are almost overhead the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Although it's hard to read the map and fly at the same time. But it is somewhere around here, although it's not. I'm usually popping out as anything being obvious. Okay. Let's just head for the ocean. Then I can tell you a little bit more about this beautiful aircraft. Do something that I don't really get to do in this bit. Put it on autopilot. What? Autopilot? Really? Yes. Okay. Check the cruise setting. So let's have a look. What are our frames at the moment? Not brilliant. 13, 14, 50. Okay. It's funny though, even though the frames are lower, it still feels smooth, and it, well, not lower, low. It still feels a lot smoother than version 4 used to. There's LAX down there. So, there we go. T's and P's, we can lean out now. And also switch fuel tank. Need to set up my controls for that. So yeah, really all in all, I feel it's an improvement on version 4. I could hardly fly in this area in version 4, and if I did, I'd turn my settings right down. So, considering my settings are relatively high, that isn't bad. And even at those low frame rates, you know, it's not like it's absolutely killing it. I could quite happily do a cross-country flight from here like this without feeling that somehow the immersion was being ruined because you know, it was stuttering and juddering all over the place. Got visibility set out quite a reasonably long way, and there's a heck of a lot of buildings around, as you can see. So I said I was going to talk to you a bit more about this aircraft. First of all, this is the A2A Acusim V35B Bonanza. Absolutely beautiful looking aircraft, and certainly great fun to fly. It's just got a unique shape. It's got its own little quirks, its own little characteristics, including that takeoff, and it's certainly got plenty to get your teeth into. If you're thinking of getting into GA or thinking of getting a GA aircraft that's a bit different from the norm, then yeah, I can highly recommend this. It's absolutely beautiful, stunning to look at, great fun to fly, and with the whole AccuSim model built into it, there's plenty to learn and master and get your head around with it. And if you're looking at getting into a V8, I can highly recommend them. I got no real aspiration to go into big tube liners. They have those, but also they have the ability to do what I like to do, which is potter around in these air taxis and do nice little trips. An hour and a half, something like that, over some nice scenery, low and slow, and just have some fun in a really good, well-modelled GA aircraft. But if you want to move on into the big airliners, they've got it. They've really got it all. They've got all different types of aircraft and routes that you can fly. Great bunch of people, really well run. They know what they're doing, but it's got a nice friendly feel to it as well. Excuse me while I reach over and grab my cup of tea. That's one of the great advantages of being a sim pilot. You can have a cup of tea sitting next to you. Don't have to worry about any kind of in-flight safety issues or anything like that. T's and P's all looking good. Nicely leaned out. Speed a little on the high side, but not too worried about that. Running active sky, there's no cloud to see on here. I did notice, and in fact, let's just have a quick look. I don't think you'll be able to see this, but yeah, according to active sky, we should be running into something round about now, which could be this kind of misty murk that we're looking at. There's certainly nothing up top. Yeah, certainly some kind of a mist, like a sea fog, I guess. So this is the Orbx Catalina Island add-on, KAVX. I've not been here yet. I hope the scenery works, but that's what test flights are all about, right? So let's take her off autopilot now. Let's see what we can find down here. As we come through the mist. Something almost Stephen King-like about that mist. What are we going to find on the island? Once did a fantastic route flight here with the A2A Misfits, A2A Misfits Squadron. Again, if you have got an A2A aircraft and you quite fancy the idea of flying with other pilots, fantastic bunch of people. Go to the A2A Simulations forum, check out the multiplayer section and see what flights are coming up. It's a real mix of ages experience from around the world, great sense of humour, and always an adventure. I actually, when I first started doing them, found it really useful because someone will pick a flight, pick a route, and quite often it's somewhere that you wouldn't even think of going to, and you experience a new part of the world. Just notice that line. I guess that's some kind of graphical glitch. Not sure what's causing that, but that's quite interesting. Got it on this side. There it is. Oh, okay, they're tiles. Some kind of shimmering. Take a shot of that. It's one to look up in the forums later. This is one of the beauties of whenever you've had some kind of major overhaul with a flight sim, or you've, as we have here, got a new flight sim. Little things like that that you spot, you have to go to the forums, troubleshoot them. Quite often you find a way around it, but the only way you will find out about these things is to fly around like this and find them, experience them. But yeah, I don't think I've seen that before in version 4. It's the tiles for the water, isn't it? Nice. Anyone fancy a holiday? Okay, here we've got a little glitch. We seem to have scenery that doesn't want to load up. And we have some floating trees, which are always interesting. So let's have a quick look. If I pause it, try and give it a chance to see if it needs to catch up or if it's something else. There we go. Scenery is quite beautiful. This is Avalon. Yeah, this is definitely making me wish I was on holiday. Let's put the power on as we come over here. Anyone for a cold beer? Yellow submarine down there. Okay, let's get our head back into the cockpit a bit now. We'll do a quick overfly of the airport. Looks like we've got a slight crosswind. Nothing to worry about. Yeah, I've got to say, this is great scenery. A bit strange about that one kind of tile that for some reason hadn't quite loaded up, because otherwise this is, as you can see, the scenery's performing really well. So rather than being any particular big issue, just chalk that up to being a little glitch. Nothing to worry about too much. Certainly the lines, the squares in the water, that's worth having a look at. Beautiful scenery. One of the things I love about version 5 is it does give a very, certainly in this kind of weather, I guess, it does seem to give a nice, realistic, atmospheric look to it. There's that kind of haze layer which surrounds us. You can see that line on the horizon. Not too sure about that, if I'm honest, but otherwise, colours are more vibrant as well. I think my version 4 had all sorts of shader mods going on in it, but VOR. This actually feels and looks quite natural. So just come off on the power. Gonna go full rich now. Just have a quick overflight to check nothing's going to shock us when we actually try and do the approach. Everything seems to be okay, no mesh issues. Nice little airport, isn't it? Okay. So we're going to come back over here and then we'll shoot an approach. Okay, so before we come in, let's put our fuel pump on. We know the autopilot's off, fuel select. I'm going to switch to the other tank. Mixture is rich. Quickly set the altimeter. Canal flaps closed. Okay, let's bring around. Have to make this fairly tight. There's that strange issue with the water again. Right, where's our airport? Let's get our reference. Gain a bit of height. Let's drop the gear. Touch your flap. Trim. Make some adjustments to my trim sensitivity. Thank you very much for coming along and being brave enough to go on this test flight. Look at that beautiful DC-3 over there. This is a great little scenery pack. Being distracted by the DC-3 and not turning off where I should do. Okay, let's have the flaps up. Like the complete amateur that I am in this, I forgot the landing light. But we can now take the strobe off. Flying this bit too much. So yeah, thank you very much for coming along. I hope you've enjoyed the flight. First of many flights in version 5. I will be getting Microsoft 2020 The reason why I've decided to get version 5 is because A2A predominantly for the time being with the Warbirds, my only option really is prepared, so that's what I'm going to stick with. She's not waiting for me, don't worry. And it made sense to do it, and it just looks absolutely fantastic, so why not? Thanks for coming along. I shall see you soon.